And the ladies will be working as quick as they can to determine who won and what you won. And we'll check out tonight. We've got the swiper. We will take cash, but we got the swiper. We take checks for sure. But we got the swiper, and it works pretty daggum good, so they're going to be ready for that. And we'll probably have at least, we'll have 2 swipers, so we'll have 2 lines going on. So we'll try to get that done as quick as possible. Okay. In your program, we want you tonight to learn a little bit more about Christ Starfish Foundation, who we are, what we do, and probably really important, why we do it. And we're going to kick the night off with a video of a family that is typical of families that we help. And again, the numbers are, we've done about 14,000, we've paid out $1.8 million to over 14,000 children. Now that counts Christmas and everything. The numbers, the family numbers are about 26, 27, 2,800. The balance would be kids at Christmas. Of that 14,000, so we do a lot of Christmas kids, obviously. But this is the Wyatt family. They've got a great story, and it's not atypical. In other words, and you're going to learn tonight firsthand that you live life and you just do what you do, and then sometimes God, for whatever reason, you get thrown a curve, and this is the Wyatt family.
So we're Chris and Amanda Wyatt, got pregnant with our first son that we named Elijah. Had a beautiful, perfect, healthy pregnancy. I went into labor. They did the ultrasound just to see where the position of the baby is and see how everything is going. That's when they can find heartbeat. We were devastated.
We didn't understand what happened, so we took some time, and after that we decided, well, let's go get testing done. They found nothing. We decided to try again. Got pregnant a few months later and found out at 20 weeks that our new child was going to be born with a very severe medical condition called congenital diaphragmatic hernia.
We didn't know much about congenital diaphragmatic hernia. We had to ask our OBGYN, and she came in and gave us very devastating news that her recommendation was to terminate our pregnancy.
We needed to know, more information. It wasn't just, oh, well, that's your recommendation, let's go ahead and do that. That was never an option for us.
And that's when we found Dr. Case. We scheduled a consultation with him, and as soon as we sat down with him, he spent 2.5 hours with us. And I remember he got out his phone and he showed us some babies that he had saved, and that they were walking and saying mama and dada, and we were like, okay.
Now we have to go, okay, well, we have to move out of our house for, 3 to 6 months, maybe longer.
We were able to sit down with, at my work, my boss immediately said, we're gonna work with you, and we would like to offer you to work remotely. And I was in high spirits, and I was like, okay, did you talk to your boss? And he didn't quite have the same reaction.
My company just wasn't, they weren't really able to do that.
Dr. Case said we had to come 2 weeks ahead of the induction date, so just in case we go into labor and have the baby ahead of time. So our focus then was just to get up there and we'd figure out where we were staying later. We were able to make it on time and get induced.
He came out and they went right to work.
They were a lot of times blue and
not breathing.
Rarely hear your baby cry. Dr. Case came and saw us and told us what was going on and told us we could go ahead and go see Ethan for the first time. And I remember going down to the NICU. We looked over at our son for the first time, and there was so much. There was so much equipment, and
it was a lot to take in. Tubes and wires, and that was probably the most difficult thing to see.
And then in the middle of the night at 2 o'clock, we got woken up to a phone call that he wasn't going to make it to surgery. That was scheduled at 6 in the morning. That they had to do this to save his life, and we needed to come down and say goodbye in case he didn't make it.
The surgery was successful. we came off ECMO 8 days later, and you know, kind of had one of those going, you know, downhill moments. It was a long, rough road, and it took a lot.
Now we only had one income and two
Mortgages, basically.
mortgage and a rent to pay. We had talked to our social worker, and we were like, our pockets are empty.
We
Is there
need
anything
something.
that you can do to help? And she said, have we asked Christ Starfish to help yet?
I think it was within a week that we even talked to our social worker that we're getting our mortgage paid. That's huge. We knew we were going to be able to leave. We knew that we were making it. We made it to the end of the road, you know, and it was nice to know that we were having a home to come home to.
They had to have all of that in place before we even came into that need in that situation. And that's when we know that's a God thing, right?
It's all done.
Are you all done?
Yes, that's what
What-
that's what that
does this mean all
It's
done?
all done. And that's what he's doing. I'm so done.
That's, God things are what we do. You know, it's, there's just a lot of families like that. You're gonna meet some tonight. I don't know. We feel very blessed to be able to do what we do. The person who does pretty much everything at our house, that handles all the cases. I don't get involved hardly any now. She'll ask my opinion every now and then. But Becky, my wife, does all the cases. Gwen can tell you. We work at 13 hospitals in 4 states. We do a lot of work in Atlanta. We do a lot of work in Gainesville, Jacksonville. There's whatever. We work at 5 in Florida. We work at Wilson, Shands, Arnold Palmer, Sacred Heart in Pensacola, and St. Joseph's in Tampa. We work at the 3 children's hospitals in Atlanta. We do some work at Brunswick. In Brunswick, Georgia, we work at 3 of the hospitals in Indiana. Peyton Manning, Riley in Indianapolis, and Lutherans in Fort Wayne. We have some Fort Wayne people here tonight. And yeah, and we work a little bit at Blair Bats in Jackson, Mississippi. So, and again, we love what we do, and we're just trying to be obedient to what the Lord calls us to do. I'm going to call Gwen Robinson. Gwen, we've worked with Gwen. We've been at Chance for 17 years. You know, we have met, and I don't mean to put people on a pedestal or because this person, not to snide out of me, but we wouldn't be. Billy Woods is in a different friggin' world. Him and his uncle, we couldn't get anybody to do our 501c3. They either wanted to charge us thousands and thousands of dollars, and we didn't have it, but they just couldn't help us. And Billy said, hey, I think we could do this. Him and his uncle, Dennis Robson, I think, you know, got it done. And Billy obviously didn't charge us a dime. And Billy got that done, and then we were working at Wilson, and Billy said, hey, you know, our son was at Shands, and I watched people in the waiting room, they didn't have money to buy a hamburger. Now, think about that for just a second. We go out and we eat all this food, right? I mean, my goodness gracious. And some people don't have money to buy a hamburger, and their child's in the hospital. And Billy said, let's go help some people. Can you help us at Shands? Because Billy had tried, I think I'm doing this right, telling the story right. Billy had wanted to help at Shands and just couldn't put it together. And he knew what we were doing at Wilson and Jacksonville. And we said yes. And we set some meetings up. I think Gwen was right there in the beginning. And we started working at Shands, and we're there to this day. So Dr. Phillip is not going to be able to be here tonight, but Gwen, for some unforeseen circumstances, he has spoken before. He's a great guy. Miss him not being here. But Gwen's incredible. If you're a Gator fan, her brother is Ricky Mateo, which has got a little history there with the Gators and the Denver Broncos. But Gwen, I'm asking you to come up. This is your part of the program, and you just go crazy.
Isn't he awesome? I know his wife Becky is out there somewhere. Well, she's probably out there. They are awesome. And I just thank God for them answering their calling. You know, their dedication from start to end. I mean, my work week is at Shands Hospital. I'm a social worker in the NICU. My day starts at 7:30. and their day starts even sooner than that. So we can definitely give God a hand, but definitely give that vessel the way Thank you. And thank you to all of you all. Thank you for the vendors who came out to share. Thank you to my family who came with me. I have a part of my family in the community. Thank you all for coming again and supporting this event. You know, it takes everybody. Thanks all of you for your evening that you took time out to, you know, just to continue to pour in such an awesome need. I had the opportunity of working with the Wyatt and his family, and that's so often what families start out with. You know, when it's gonna be different, then let's just kind of go ahead and terminate. But so many families, their answer is no, that wasn't what our investment or what we intended. And one of the things with medicine, it is just, you know, we've come a long way. So many times I've heard what MDs say, but we know we serve G-O-D. And we always have the last say in that. Part of my responsibility at Shands Hospital as a social worker is just to make sure families understand the information that is shared with them. And then try to help to offer the anticipatory journey that's before them. And then the rest is history. I found this poem that was so, I think really kind of speaks to it, and I have families who, you know, have gonna be able to come up and share their journey. But it says, a healthy baby, isn't that what we all want? It's pretty typical to hear the question, do you want a boy or a girl? And respond with a response, it doesn't matter as long as the baby is healthy. But what if the baby isn't healthy? What if something, somewhere, somehow didn't form right? What if there's something missing, something extra, something scary, something that will result in months worth of hospital stay and dozens of surgeries? What if the beautiful gift would change life in ways that you could never imagine? What if you would cry tears that you never knew you had, from deep down than you have ever felt before? What if instead of bringing home a perfectly formed baby to cuddle, you spend your discharge time scheduling hospital visits? And that is a lot of the families' what if. And that's a lot of our families' realities. But as you know, all of us, we're their wing beneath their wings of helping them through that. Because once they make that decision of love, whichever way it may go, it's a decision that they walk out for a lifetime. So again, I really want to just, you know, have you to applaud yourself and all the other people that's not here that helped Christ Starfish make a difference for those families to walk out this journey of being by their babies and their children's bedside, because it's more than valuable, and that's special. Before I go on any further, happy Mother's Day to the mothers that, you know, going to be out there this Sunday, and the Father's Day that's coming up in And as I said, at Shands Hospital, we see, many things. I mean, it's a hospital that has lots of specialties, at least 20 pediatric specialties. We even have a children's emergency room now. We have a children's hospital within the hospital. I get to serve daily in working with families in the neonatal intensive care, so that's a part of, you know, a 78-bed unit. I have two families who are gonna share their journey in terms of you making, you know, a difference to them. We have one of our graduates, and that's Jasmine and Brandon Brown, and they got their little precious gift here, Cade. So that'll be our first family, and then I'll introduce our next